Today we got two larger debuts and reveals for Modern Warfare 2 Season 2. So today we're breaking down what you need to know with our first look at Season 2's gameplay and new content. As we go along, drop your thoughts down below. Which part are you jumping into on Wednesday? You're gonna grind out DMZ, ranked play, the new Battle Royale changes? Whatever the case, drop your thoughts below. And for the last 2 days here, check out my friends over at GamerAdvantage for their best deal of the new year, but more on them in a bit. For now, let's jump into these reveals for Modern Warfare 2 Season 2. So, first thing today we ended up getting was a launch trailer from Call of Duty. While not showing too many specifics in regards to things that are necessarily brand new, we did see some of the things that we've seen teased and revealed for a little bit, but we saw it in the first capacity of actually how they look in action now with this launch trailer. Things like a bit more on Ashika Island, things like the redeploy drones and how those work, which it looks like you'll be able to shoot off those like you could in Warzone 1, something that you couldn't do right now off the initial drop sequences in Warzone 2. So curious if that's something that's just for the drones or if it's for all drop animations. But beyond that, we saw things like the new MP maps, or some of them, Infected, Afghan is a new point of interest in Al Mazrah, the 1v1 Gulag, plating while moving, the loot pinata as it's dubbed, though I personally enjoy just calling it loot vomit more because why not, and things of that kind of nature. But those were like the big ticket items that we saw previewed here that gave it a bit more understanding of how they'll actually work. So for a quick rundown on how those will work in particular, the redeploy drones, these are only available on Ashika Island to start, and that's something that it looks like it's going to be something that comes a bit in season, not necessarily at launch, and are a bit different than the balloons we saw from Caldera and Resurgence maps of old. What's different is that they can relocate to a safe area after a short period if they're within the zone. If they are shot down, they cannot be restored by paying to restore them. Instead, you have to wait for them to respawn at a different location later, and eventually they'll all go away as it comes down to late game. Something that if you got the luck of the draw in regards to some of the zone pool, you could still use a balloon in Fortune's Keep, in Rebirth, in Caldera. One thing that's nice about this ascender mechanic in Warzone 2 with this redeploy drone versus Warzone 1's redeploy balloons is that you can adjust your angle of trajectory while on the move. Unlike Warzone 1, you kind of had to line it up first and then you were locked in that position, but you can also hip fire while using the ascender here for the drones to give suppressing fire if, say, someone's shooting at you, whereas in Warzone 1, you were locked in a more vulnerable state. Again, curious to see if we'll have the ability to shoot after launching be only applicable to these drones, or if we'll see that available with the initial drop sequences as well. But moving on, the MP maps, we saw a brief teaser here with this, clips of just half the maps, Dome and then Al Maliki International Airport as well. There's no clip of Museum and Observatory as well, which is kind of odd, but anyways, we know of those ones coming. Infected here was shown off for a couple of frames. My big thing, I'm still wondering if we'll see any sort of specialist for streaks here come along with this update, or if it's going to be a straight up bare bones version of Infected. We'll have to wait and see. Afghan was something that was previewed here with a new point of interest, that plane crash that was coming into Al Mazrah. That's something that in the Satik Caves area, there's already portions of Afghan. The only thing that was really missing was the plane itself, but now it seems to be entirely there. This is said to, at least in DMZ, have a lot more resistance since rival factions are going to be fighting over it narratively, so curious to see what actually comes of that in terms of practical loot, but cool to see this in air quote action after that trailer. The 1v1 Gulag was something that was shown off here a little bit, and while it was only like 5 to 10 seconds of this for clips, I feel like they could have done a better job at getting the Gulag's messaging across because it appears different than what we're actually told. Based off of that, if you just looked at it for face value, it seems like it's only pistols only for the Gulag itself and 1v1. But that's not exactly the case, because from the blog we ended up learning we've also made logistical changes to the Gulag experience. Ground loot has been revisited, as well as the loadouts that players will spawn in with. We've updated the pool to include assault rifles, submachine guns, and light machine guns as primaries as the circle progresses. Shotguns have been removed from the rotation, while handguns will remain available as secondary weapons. So what you see in that clip is just all secondary weapon play, but it seems like we should be, at the very least, able to pick up assault rifles, submachine guns, LMGs off the ground if we don't already have those by default as soon as we spawn into the Gulag. Now, additionally, the Gulag is still on the old map that we have right now for Season 1, but it's described that a new one is going to be coming in the future. It's just out of that transition, making it a sort of what seems like almost last second edition. The timing didn't work out to have a new map introduced for Season 2's launch. Maybe Season 2 Reloaded, but anyways, we have a smaller version of the map for the Gulag right now. So we'll have access to those primary weapons on the same map that we know of, and also the domination style overtime flag is returning rather than having to deal with the jailer. We also see plating while moving here in that trailer. Kind of funny that this is a feature that gets the spotlight in this trailer, but it's coming, and it's something that will give you a bit more speed on the go, but not quite full sprint like you could in Warzone 1. And then finally, the loot pinata was shown off as well. The animation for this one kind of turns out funny to me just because we've never seen it in a trailer. Obviously, we've seen this happen in-game within Warzone 1, but none of the trailers ever debuted that kind of stuff, the loot spilling out. So I'm not too worried how it looks in-game, but it just seems funny to see it in a trailer. I do hope this doesn't mess with anything for DMZ though. I do think the bag system has a place there in that mode, but for BR, I can understand going back to that loot vomit state. But that said, that is what we learned here in that gameplay trailer for Season 2. But of course, to keep things rolling, let's jump into ranked play and a bit of discussion we got with that. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised at how much I'm looking forward to ranked here. And beyond that, I don't know if it's just me wanting something to grind or how much is different from prior years, because the basics, I know of Vanguard and Cold War's ranked play, but honestly, didn't dive too far into it, didn't grind those out too much. So if some of the stuff that I say I'm looking forward to is like obvious repeats, apologies. But anyways, probably be grinding some of this out. The trailer that we got broke down the following though. Of course, that modes are mirroring the CDL, so hardpoint, search, and control, naturally. And additionally, that's something we'll see mirrored CDL map sets too, those being LSEO, Embassy, Fortress, Hotel, Hydro, and Mercado, all in 4v4 gameplay. We'll have skill divisions of bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, crimson, and iridescent being that top, with the ability to move up and down those skill divisions based off of winning, losing, personal, and team performances. The interesting part is with Season 2 here and the launch of ranked play, everyone will start in bronze together and you go up from there. No placement matches this time. So 1, 2, and 3 for bronze, silver, gold, platinum, and so on. So you can end up grinding through those. But if you are a true grinder, you're a true skill top player, there's a top 250 division and leaderboard as well. One cool thing is we also have pro player profiles as well, so that if you end up getting into that top 250 leaderboard, you can see who's an actual pro in the CDL and who isn't and where you stack up against them. An additional beautiful thing that has not been debuted in the trailer but was detailed in the blog post accompanying it was that we have SR forgiveness this time around, which is awesome, because if you have a teammate that drops out, whether either just quitting out or their game crashes or something, obviously you don't want to back out and sacrifice your SR here, but being down a man, that makes it incredibly tougher to end up mounting that comeback, mounting that win, keeping any lead you may have. But if that does happen, even if you lose, you will not lose any SR. You can still gain by your personal performance, but you won't lose anything. So it's only positive from whenever a teammate backs out or something like that, whereas previously that was kind of like a death wish in regards to ranked modes, what we saw in the past with Call of Duty. So love that change. Now, beyond that, while we have skill divisions and skill rating, we also will have ranks, something that's more of a career grind that it doesn't matter if you're a great player, you're a casual player, or you're the top player in the world, or the worst. You can still grind out these ranks and have these here from 1 to 50, where winning matches will grant you stars, and stars will help you rank up. Rewards are then tethered to ranks, with rank 5 giving you a skin set to start, with every 5 ranks beyond that then granting more rewards across operator skins, weapon blueprints, calling cards, and things like that. So a lot of cool stuff to grind out here at that, but on a more overall standpoint, we'll see seasonal rewards as well, where seasonal win challenges come into play, which is where we can see a new universal camo as well, which is awesome. Love that. Love me some camos rather than just blueprints. By the end of the season, we'll have skill division skins that showcase where you landed up and where you finished. Gold and above grants a player skin according to their placements. So you could have gold, you could have platinum, you could have diamond, crimson, iridescent, or top 250. Top 250 players get their own sets of skins, calling card, and emblem, so a little bit more here for that. And honestly, one of the coolest things here that was debuted out of this was that we have a unique and one and only reward for the #1 out of the 250 globally. So literally the best player ranked in the world gets their own specific and unique and what will be the rarest calling card as well as emblem alongside that. So that's awesome, or in theory is awesome, assuming they can deal with cheaters or like classic issues, those that just DDoS players out of matches. So that'll be interesting to see how all that works out, but really cool to see. Honestly, looking forward to seeing what we have here in regards to ranked play and the gameplay experience with that. But with that in mind, that brings us to where we are and up to speed with everything we've seen. Tomorrow, if I'm guessing, is a Battle Pass trailer and blog post. We may be covering that. I don't necessarily focus too much on those because it's usually just a trailer about weapon charms, calling cards, and like operator skins sometimes. So I don't really care too much about that. We'll see what tomorrow holds though. Maybe there is some worthwhile information out of that, but we're getting close after 2 to 3 months of just waiting for something of substantial value here for the update, depending on your burn rate on how much you played through Season 1's content. We're getting close. So before we wrap everything up, a reminder, and I apologize for beating a dead horse, today and tomorrow are the final days of the increased sales over at GamerAdvantage. You've heard this pitch here before, but truly, I do think they're the best blue light glasses on the market. They're the most comfortable, lightweight, and durable frames that I've used, and I do truly believe they're the best by comparison to any generic pair you'd be able to get. Full transparency, with their clinically proven effectiveness of their lenses, their comfort of the frames, they're a bit pricier than the generic pair you'd find on like Amazon, but that difference in price is absolutely reflective of the quality to me, and that's why right now is a great time to, at the very least, learn more about them in the link in the description below, since site-wide, there are a few frames which have a 14% off discount, but with code Espresso stacking on top of that, giving you another 10%, that totals 24% off your entire order, something we haven't seen since Black Friday sales, and likely we won't see again for a few months. So if you're interested, check the link in the description below and use code Espresso for the best savings possible if you pick anything up. But for now, that's what we're gonna call it. Love to hear your thoughts and feedback down below. What are you guys looking forward to here out of what we saw today? Anything in particular you want to jump into? Whatever the case, drop your thoughts. But if you enjoyed the video, you found it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on it. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Modern Warfare 2, Warzone 2, and anything COD related. Season 2 upcoming this week, so we'll keep you up to date with all of it. For now, thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.